The morning of my 21st, I realized that like my arms were like covered in like all these cuts. And I like came out, like asked my housemates, I'm like, what happened? And they were like, you don't remember? You just like, we just found you. And they came in and I was just like, had fallen like head first into the shower screen.
Welcome back to the Sharehouse. I'm Mikey D. I'm joined by my best friend in the world, Joel Harris, and today we are privileged, honoured, and we're rejoicing in the fact that we have Liam from Playlunch with us.
Let's go.
There'll be air horns, I'm telling you, it's a whole fan affair there. You have a brand new album coming out, of course. Who's ready for a good time? We know we are.
I'm ready for a good time.
You've come here today because you've had a lifetime of good times, and you're going to share a couple of them.
Yeah, something like that.
Which we're very excited about.
Let's go
Your
for it.
Sharehouse experience. Please, you have the stage.
Yeah, you told us right before when you came here that you've lived in 5 to 7 share houses over the last 7 or so years.
Yeah.
Season vet.
I've literally lost count this stuff. It's crazy because you just move from place to place to find wherever the cheapest possible rent you can get. So
Yeah.
you deal with mold. You know, you deal. Yeah, I mean, you've had purple pingers on the show. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah. I'm excited. Please regale us in your history.
All right. Well, I mean, the first share house I ever lived in was just around the corner from here, and I'll keep the location
No, please dox me.
disclosed. And it was me and 3 of my best mates from high school, and we all just moved out together. And it was like right at the start of like the period of my life where I had just discovered that like as an anxious person, drinking alcohol is like the best thing you can do.
Just want to disclaim that we are not mental health care professionals here at the Sharehouse podcast.
We'll just put a helpline like right at the bottom of the screen. But no, I was like, I don't really drink as much as I used to then. Like I used to be like a real fiend, but this share house was just like a really crazy time.
How old are you? So you're just 18, fresh 18?
I would have been 19 at the time. 19. We're all 19, maybe turned 20. I remember I had my 21st birthday at this share house, so I would have been 20. Yeah. And it was I was working at a cinema at the time.
Oh, name and shame?
Metro Cinemas Baronia.
Oh,
Whoa.
Joel, as a film aficionado, can you...
I have not heard of it, if I'm honest. I don't think I've ever been to a Metro cinema.
That is a good thing.
I've been to about every other cinema, but oh man.
It's a terrible place. I feel no shame saying that on camera. Yeah, it is still there. Yeah.
I'll have to go.
Yeah.
No,
It's
defamation cases are coming. They know. They're thinking like, he's not wrong.
No, their business model is it's a bit shit here, but the tickets are cheap, so it's
Yeah. But it does. I am interested because that phase when you just finish off high school and the fact that you moved out so early into a home, it's like, oh, we've got this free house, we've got this space, the parents aren't around anymore, we can kind of do whatever we want. And it's a confusing part of life as well. I know I lent a lot into drinking right after high school as well. I'm like, I don't know what to do except party and have a good time.
Yeah, it was literally like, this is like every time we've had a sleepover, but then there's just no home to go back to. We're just here every night. And like you do things and you push right up to the limits of like what you can actually cope with. I remember one day I was like I'm gonna bake a cake for the boys. So I was like mixing up this cake, and you know when you see like just the batter there, and you're like, I just want to have some of just the raw batter. Of course. I was just like I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So I just ate like 3/4 of just the batter, and then immediately I just retched into like the worst stomach pain I've ever had in my life. I was like, I want my mum. What have I done, you know?
I get that. I was making cherry pies the other day, and then one of them, I had enough for like the bits to go on top, but I ate about half that dough. Yeah. Because it's so good. It's right there. There. You made it. Why shouldn't you?
I know. I mean, I felt like that was like my MasterChef moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's time for me to enjoy that shit.
Man, Preston would be so proud of you. It's so hard exercising moderation in a world of... You're a legal adult for sure, 18, 19, moved out of home. But suddenly when all the rules get lifted and there's no repercussions, like Joel used to throw house parties at his parents' house all the time.
I did. My dad listens to this. Be careful.
Joel knew there were repercussions to the parties, right? Whereas now, I'm glad you've grown out of the party phase, but now there's none.
Yeah.
Realistically,
Yeah.
bar the landlords
Yes.
breathing down your neck. If you can cover things up, you're good to just go ham, and you're good to eat the whole bowl. If we're going to keep
Yeah,
speaking
right.
metaphors here.
Right. Well, that was like one of my biggest concerns. Like I remember when we were throwing our we were like, let's have a housewarming party.
Yeah.
And I was like the anxious one of the group, you know. I was kind of like, guys, like what if something gets wrong, or what if something gets broken? And it's like the closer and closer we got to the party, the more anxious I got about it. To the point where the fellas were just like Liam, we will take care of anything that goes wrong. All you need to do is just like have some drinks, like just get pissed, have a good time, just do your own thing, you know, and we'll take care of everything that goes wrong. And then sure enough, like that night, literally 2 hours into the party, like someone broke a window. And I went to like find one of the guys in the Sharehouse to like take care of it. And literally in the space of 60 seconds, I found all 3 of them vomiting at separate places in the house.
Oh my God.
At the same time. And I was just like, this is my beast to handle right
Bro,
now.
they sound like Costa in Project X. Like, don't worry, my cousin owns a body shop. We'll fix up the window. Don't worry about it. Tyler, stop worrying.
The hubris and audacity of a 19-year-old to say, brother, you calm down. As a mature adult in this situation, inviting 300 of the closest neighbors to our small 2-bedroom flat, I've got this covered. Like, that's very audacious. Where are they getting off? What happened? How do you fix a window? They're expensive. Windows are expensive.
It's not a good time. It was like this window broke. I remember straight away I was like freaking out about it. And there was like glass to clean up. There'd already been like a bunch of glass to clean up earlier that night. We had we had an idea to, you know, obviously we couldn't provide drinks because like we had no money, but we were like we could provide like something. So we got like 6 bottles of Little Fat Lamb from the bottle-o.
I remember those.
Yeah.
So good.
They
man.
are bad for the insides of your body.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
I think I probably like earned shares in the company from the amount I used to consume. The bottle around the corner from my house had like, you could get three of them for $10. Which
That's
is
cruel.
Like that's like 24 standard drinks for $10. Hey, like that's
targeting the youth.
Too. I haven't seen any Little Fat Lamb anywhere in the recent years at all.
You've grown up, huh? That's
but
sad.
high school, they're everywhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And like it started off as like a bad situation because like first of all we went to the bottle-o. It was like cursed from the start. We went to the bottle-o to buy these things. and we like bring them to the counter and the server there is like, can I see your IDs?
Yeah.
Sure. I pull my license out and I'm like handing it to him. I'm like, something is weird here. Something's like sticky here. What's going on? And he's kind of looking, and so I hand it to him and he takes it and he's looking at it. I'm like, what's going on here? I realized that a condom that I kept in my phone wallet, the like packaging had like split open and there was just lube or everything in my wallet. And I look up and the bottle shop attendee is just standing there holding my license in one hand and in the other hand he's just like literal lube. It's just like going like this between his fingers and I'm just mortified staring at him and he just hands it back to me. He's like, thanks. I was like, no problem. So it was like bad from the start. We get home with like these 6 bottles and we put them in a like an IKEA, one of those like big jugs with like the little tap on the bottom so people could like help themselves to it.
Classy.
And we're like, this is such a good solution. It's gonna be so cheap. We can give people some drinks. This will be great. And people start arriving to the party and we're preparing this thing. We're so excited and we've like hyped it up, made a big deal to everyone about it.
Yeah.
And we all like, it takes like 2 of us to carry this thing and we're carrying it outside to like the serving table. One of my housemates has like gone to the effort of like getting snacks and laying them out everywhere, like spend a bit of cash on it. And literally as soon as we put this massive thing on the trestle table, it just collapses. And the thing hits the ground and shards of glass go everywhere and everyone's just like, no. So there was already like broken glass happening at this party and then a window gets
a modern day tragedy that is.
Yeah.
Man.
And it was like a Thursday night as well. It wasn't even like the weekend.
That's the weirdest part of throwing your mind back to being a young adult is you party in the weirdest days of the week.
Dude.
I think about that all the time now. Like I got asked to DJ on a Tuesday night. I went, sure. It was the Hawker, if you remember the Hawker.
Oh, yeah.
And I went there and it was packed out. Like 1,000 kids just jam-packed into this room. And I thought, I used to come here weekly. It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're not even at hump day yet. What are we doing here?
Tuesday night was my party night. I was at the Hawker almost every week.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
And it was like, that was like the guaranteed drinking night. And then like the weekend was optional. Like if there was something on, sure, we'll have another drinking day in the week.
Yeah.
If not, sure, I got my Tuesday.
Yeah.
The Hawker will always remain.
So weird.
I think Thursday night definitely became the one for me just because I think like being a muso, like going to venues and stuff, like whether to see mates bands and stuff, like Thursday night was always the night where there was like a cheap drink deal. I remember like the Evelyn Hotel in Fitzroy, they would have like they used to have like $10 jugs. And it was just like
It's insane.
it was perfect. There was like signs that would tell you not to drink from the jugs directly, but it was just like decoration. It was like not enforced at all.
How times have changed. Not in this economy.
No.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing about going out now as a DJ. I look at all the kids that are buying shots and I think, with what money? They're like $12 shots, $13 shots. I think, come on now.
This is what I think about. Like in COVID, I was like, because I stopped going out and stuff. I was like, I'm saving so much money. What's happening? I realized like, oh man, alcohol in Australia is very expensive.
Yeah, it's offensive. Borderline. I again, COVID, stopped drinking. I was working on a cruise ship and drinking most nights of the week because you had to.
That's all you can do on a cruise gig.
Yeah, like
there's
you
not
said,
many places to go. Right. Except the boat.
It's crew bar at 1 a.m. in the morning to wake up at 5, and that was your whole routine.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I was still drinking a little bit because it was the kind of the fun part of COVID. It was we're going to drink on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, we're crazy. And then I stopped, and I realized, do I even like drinking? I'm kind of sad still because of COVID, but for different reasons now. Do I do this anymore? It's a weird little mind game.
Sure. Because I'm like the youngest of 4 kids, and so I saw all of them sort of go through the, you turn 18, you start drinking a lot, you go to parties. Like, I kind of got to watch all that happen, and all of them, like, they're quite a bit older than me. And, I'd kind of seen all of them go through that point where they eventually kind of stopped, and they would all sort of say things like, oh, eventually, you get to the point where your body just can't bounce back anymore. But that happened to them at, like, 28, 29.
Yeah.
I, like, just before COVID, there was, like, 3 hangovers I had that just absolutely wrecked me. Like I was like for like a week I was just like messed up from them. And I think maybe it's like there's a finite number of standard drinks that you can have that your liver can process
like
before a certain age. I just maxed them out right at 22.
The little fat lambs, I'm telling you, they're double strength. They might not say it on the bottle, but they're going to kill a man very quickly.
I think mine would have related to like the parties back then. It's funny, I can relate to so many bits and pieces of your party stories, but it was just like the parties were the events to drink at and you socialize, and I would also hold them a lot myself, and that was like a big like making friends. You got like this reputation that you throw parties, and drinking was all just a part of that. So when the party stopped for me during COVID as well, it was like, oh, maybe I don't really enjoy it either. Maybe it was just part of this big social bonanza that I used to throw.
For sure. Well, that's like where like Playlunch as a project kind of came from. It was like all of the impetus for writing about it was like, I feel like there's this very defined kind of culture of like the Australian like early 20s like backyard house party. And I feel like there's like, music that we all play at those parties, but the music is never about those parties. You know? So I was like, I want to write music about these parties.
Yeah, we play Pitbull singing about American parties, and their party culture is so different. Ours is, I still remember my early drinking days. I started at 15.
Yeah, right.
It was ludicrous. Like, just so young. My friends were earlier. I remember peaking. Please write a song about this.
I will.
I remember walking along Cavill Avenue for schoolies when I was 18 and thinking, I'm too old for this shit. But from 15 to 18, in those 3 years, I drank so much and partied so hard. But schoolies was just, it didn't even hold a candle to it. I've done this. And I don't think I partied much after that.
Right.
Yeah.
People, even the Hawker, people associate with like 16 to 18-year-olds go there. So when everyone was turning 19, they were already going, oh, I think we're too old for the Hawker. We can't go anymore.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah,
It's like, you're 19. What do you mean you're too old?
But have kids. I better settle down.
I got a mortgage to pay.
Met my wife last week on the dance floor. Kesha was playing TikTok.
I've never had the avenue to talk party because it feels like so far behind.
You bury it,
Yeah. I used to host Easter every year, and very much like your glass table story, I was setting up my parents' house for another big Easter rager I was going to hold, and I was trying to move this big ottoman by myself, and I ended up just launching this ottoman like into the wall, and I just like pushed in on the wall, and my dad got home, and I was just like, yeah, that was me. No. I accidentally pushed furniture into it, and we had to like plaster over the wall to fix it up because I had just like banged it, and all these like cracks of paint were on the floor.
Right.
Oh man.
Oh, bad news bears.
Joel's through some parties.
What was like the worst repair you ever had to make as a result of a party? Was that it?
Oh, see, my dad doesn't know this one.
Oh, no, Joel, I don't know if this is territory you want to tread on.
Do it.
No, it's okay. This comes... the bashing into the wall was one of the worst I had. The worst at our house was my sister's 18th, actually. Some dude just broke a window. He just, like, elbowed the window while getting a drink out of an esky.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But the worst one that happened at one of my parties is some dude was really drunk, but he was, like, kind of like he was a hasty drunk. Like, he was, like... He was just like running around there.
Sounds like an Irish pub. The hasty drunk.
So at my parents' old place, which where we don't live there anymore. It's gone. But where there was a screen door, and then there was the actual door, and this dude went outside to like go say goodbye to someone or something, and the screen door closed behind him, but it didn't quite look like the door was closed. Like the big door was open, but the screen door closed. So he's going out, he said goodbye, and then he turns back around, he's dashing back in the house, and he just whack on the door, and he had this enormous graze on his head, and it was just kind of like bleeding, but he was fine. He was like, "Oh, guys, I'm fine. It's all good. I walked into the door, whatever."
Yeah.
But so we were taking care of him for the night, and it was fine. Eventually, the night ends, and we're like closing the place up. The big door works fine, but we get to the morning, and we're all going out for brekkie, and we realize that the screen door isn't closing. The screen door just has this like head-sized dent in it.
I'm picturing like the silhouette of him perfectly. You're just
like those little pin toys you push your head into. Yeah.
But the door's just not closing, and we're like, what the?
Yeah.
What do we do? How am I supposed to explain a door that can't close?
Yeah, it's a toughie.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Thank God. I used to have like. I was like, sleep over if you want. People were just sleeping over.
He was fast and loose. Young Joel was wild, man.
So thank God that one of the dudes who stayed over was like a full-on like carpenter, tradie type of dude. And he unscrewed like the whole door and found like one of the nails or something had bent, and he just like kind of bent it back into place and fixed it up. And Dad never knew till now.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, we do it for the content, and maybe one day you'll be able to buy Craig a door. So.
I'm sorry, Dad. I do this in the hopes to buy you property.
Well, we realized pretty quickly, like at this first share house where these parties were happening, that because they were going to knock it down.
Yeah.
It actually didn't matter what we did to this place. And like once we found that out, like I had a chat with the agent about it, and they were kind of like, don't worry about repairing X or repairing Y.
Did you have a demolition party?
We didn't have a demolition party. We left like some we left some Easter eggs for the someone brought to a house party once like this huge big like plush toy like reindeer, like a silver reindeer that was like literally as big as this table. It was huge, and we kept. Like no one wanted it in the house, but we kept like putting it in each other's rooms, as you do. It was a little trick. And then when it came time to moving out, we're like, what do we do with this? Like, we don't want to take this with us. And so we just put it in like the manhole in the ceiling. And so at some point, a month or so after that, there would have been like demo guys leading stuff away. There would just be this huge reindeer, and they'd just be like, what's this?
I hope it still exists out there somewhere.
I pray. But no, we broke. I broke like a shower screen one night at a house party. Yeah, I woke up.
A lot of glass-related incidents, huh?
Yeah, I'm realizing that's been a thing. Hey, no, I was like the morning of my 21st. Well, I had my 21st at this house, and I woke up the worst hangover of my entire life. Again, like stories I look back on now in like a slightly different context.
Yeah.
And like I remember waking up, I pulled the doona off, and I still had like my shoes on, like fully laced up from the night before. Like, what's happened? I have no recollection of it. Like I'd never like blacked out before until that night.
Yeah.
This is like when things start taking a turn. And I got up and I walked to the ensuite I had like the room with the ensuite in the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is horrible. I need to have a shower. And so I kind of took everything off. I started running the water. I like sort of pulled myself into the shower. And the shower screen was like 3 partitions of glass, you know.
Yeah.
I pulled them across. And the middle one just wasn't there.
What?
And I was like, what? And then I moved a little bit and I looked down and the floor of the shower was just covered in glass. And I realized that like my arms were like covered in like all these cuts. And I like came out, like asked my housemates, I'm like, what happened? And they were like, you don't remember? You just like, we just found you. Like we heard this crazy noise at like, not late, like 10 p.m. or something. I like checked out and they came in and I was just like, had fallen like head first into the shower screen. And that was like the end of the night. And I was like,
went out with a literal bang.
I know. I'm like, what am I going to do about this? But then sort of like the landlord did not care if we repaired it or not. So I just had to live. All that had to be repaired was my self-worth.
Yeah. That takes a while.
That's exactly right.
It's expensive. That's an expensive therapy fix as well.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
intense.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff our parents feared that we were doing. And the worst part, sorry, Mum, we were.
We were. It's true.
I remember in high school coming back from parties, because I can't even talk about adult partying. I didn't do it. I did it in high school. And I remember, I don't know if you guys relate to this one, but Mum would come pick me up from some parties. And I remember getting into the back seat. And I sat in the middle seat. Don't know why. I just thought this was the best way to seat.
That's a less sus seat.
It's B-plot.
I just thought Mum wouldn't think about me being drunk. She's like, he's in the middle seat. He's a chilling dude. He can support himself upright. That was probably
man spreading across the other 2 seats. Like
that was rationale number 1 gone wrong.
Just holding onto the 2 like little things above the window.
Well, I used to do this as a kid, and for some reason, drunk me thought it'd be the play as I'm trying to show Mum that I'm not drunk. I'd get all the seatbelts and strap my in like I was in a rocket ship. So I put all the seatbelts across and got into the car. And Mum was like, how's the party? I said, it's good. I'm very tired, so I'm not going to be talking much. And then I sat straight as I could and just stared ahead for the 40-minute trip home.
Oh, man.
And Mum was like, did you really think that we didn't know? Like this recent times. And I was like,
right.
What gave it away? Was it the seatbelts? It must have been the seatbelts.
Yeah, there was a point where I'd tell my parents, like, I just don't think I'll drink till after VCE, like after year 12. Like, I don't think, I can just avoid that. I want to do well in school, rah, rah, rah. And then there was a point where that just was not true anymore. Very, I was mid 17. I think I was just before I turned 17 is when the party sort of started for me.
Everyone starts doing it.
I had the opposite though, because I was like, I was not one of the cool kids at school. I was one of the production kids, So we were still having parties at 17 that were board games.
Let's go to my house and stay up all night and drink Monster Energy drinks.
Shots of red cordial. But no, I didn't start drinking until schoolies, So I had the opposite experience of you. And I think as well that sort of, I don't know, maybe the taboo of alcohol meant that by the time I was finally legally able to do it, and I did sort of have the distance from the family, I went too far.
Big.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Went really big. Yeah. And it's not that I'd had nights where I'd had a few cruises or something like that. But I was leading under this assumption of I just think I'm I just don't get hangovers. I just don't get hangovers. And on schoolies, I was no, you just have not drunk enough yet to get a hangover.
We were just built real different.
Yeah.
I remember on Schoolies we invented this game, and I am not endorsing anyone to play this game.
Drinking games. We're going to talk about drinking games right now. Let's go.
Please dive in. Okay. So me and my friend Josh invented this game on Schoolies up in the Gold Coast called Nines. And the way Nines works is you line up 9 mugs and you put 2 shots of vodka in each, and the other side 2 shots of tequila, and in the middle you put 2 shots of vodka and 2 shots of tequila, and then you have to race so that you don't have to drink the middle one. So the first person there doesn't have to drink the biggest cup.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I love that. I love that. Best drinking game I ever came up with was a game called Shot garlic bread.
Whoa.
That's exactly what you think it is. A piece of garlic bread, a shot, and a piece of garlic bread. And just a race to the finish.
That is the greatest chaser of all time.
That's a nice palate cleanser, yeah.
But that being said, anxious 18-year-old me or 17-year-old me going to a party or going out and having garlic bread mouth.
Fair.
Wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
How did
You
you
catch
go
the
with
other
that?
guys in the bathroom just like, oh man, I need to fix my hair. It's not
Yeah.
looking good.
Do you think my cool rolled up jeans are good? My low cut socks, are they low enough so people can't see that I'm wearing socks? Guys, please
I
validate
used to
that.
take my friends to Target. I'm like, I don't know what to wear. I
Target.
can't dress myself.
The fit check before a party is a very
Huge.
important ritual for sure.
My mum dressed me up until 18, I swear to God. I would take her with me to Cotton On. I have a mum. I need to know what skinny jeans are the best skinny jeans. What printed shirt is the coolest one?
Mum would
man.
take me to Doncaster and we'd go to all the clothing stores. Oh, man.
Mum didn't know, but I was like, Mum, which one's going to get me the most hookup?
So I was dressing myself as a teenager, but in hindsight, that was not a good decision. I remember, 100% JJ's, the skinny jeans, the graphic tees. I remember I had a Batman belt buckle that looked like the Batman 89 Tim Burton belt. I remember my first
Such a theatre kid.
my first girlfriend. I remember she had a friend. I would have been 16 at the time, and this friend was really vibing me out. And she took me aside one day. She's like, "You have to lose the Batman belt." You cannot be dating my friend with the Batman belt. and this was I can't emphasize to you how this was news to me. I was like, I thought it was cool. I thought we loved the Batman belts.
I thought that was why you guys hung out.
I mean, is that not why we're dating in the first place?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Looking back, I've deleted my old Facebook because the memories were starting to haunt me. So I'd see photos of me with these haircuts and these outfits and the poses I do at parties, and I thought, I can't keep seeing
This gets out.
Yeah. This would get me cancelled. I'm not doing anything wrong, but the sheer look of me.
As soon
People
as you
take
could
me
turn
down.
off memories on Snapchat, I did. I was just sick of seeing them all.
Dumb kid.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you're making music. It's almost like a cathartic experience for you.
Yes.
It's a therapy.
Yes.
To make music through Playlunch as your outlet.
Absolutely. And it allows me to take all of the things that I'd be terrified to admit to anyone that I liked and tell them that I liked it,
I've had 3 moments in this podcast where I've gone, oh God, I know my girlfriend's auntie listens to this podcast. Is this a bad thing to say? And I'm like, Michael, you're 15 hooking up with girls. Of course, that's okay. But now I'm thinking I should be making music about it. So, new album's coming out though.
Yeah.
Please tell us about it, because I'm a Playlunch fan.
Okay.
And this guy is very exciting that you're here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm one of the fans to be like, I was there from the get.
I'm in this romantic phase right now where I've just learned about you and I'm listening to you now. I'm like, this is so much fun.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
If y'all ain't heard Super Opera, Jesus Christ, get on it.
Please get on it.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, the band's Playlunch. We
Got a 40-piece band.
Yeah, we add 2 members every time we play a gig, so it just goes up. And that's not true.
It feels it.
We're capped at 8 people right now.
Okay.
And yeah, all of our tracks are sort of very much about this world, growing up in Australia, sort of stepping into that drinking culture, but also sort of niche Australian primary school, high school related things. We got a track called Athletics Day on the upcoming album. We got track
No Play.
No Hat No Play. That's a big one. Yeah, it was our first single, track called
I'm
Super
a big
Opera.
fan. Foxtail Girl, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Foxtail Girl. The idea of Foxtail Girl was I felt there are so many classic pop songs about wanting to hook up with someone that has more money than you. They're out of your leagues, they're out of your financial class. There's Uptown Girl or Material Girl or Rich Girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, what could we have? I was like, oh my god, Foxtail Girl. This is it. This is it.
So my friend Ryan that had ripsticks at his house. He was my ripstick boy.
Yeah.
He had two for just him. So we got to ride together in his tennis court.
Fire out.
I had
In
some,
his tennis court.
I had some rich friends.
What about tennis court, Ryan? Oh my god.
Oh no, I've damaged my monocle.
Divorced Mikey D with WOG parents, going to rich friends' houses. I was living my best life, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I partied with a lot of private school kids, and I think I had a good team.
Well, my high school was I went to a private school, but it was a very different to other private schools. There was a really big scholarship program, and so there's a lot of us that went there. Some of the kids were rich and had rich families, but so many of the kids were quite poor, quite working class, and I was one of those kids.
Yeah.
And so it was one of these crazy worlds where all of your friends were you'd go to this guy's house and then this guy's house, and just like the different worlds you see. Like sometimes you'd get to someone's house, you'd be like,
Yeah.
you know what is
Yeah.
going on.
I
Yeah.
totally empathize with that. I
Yeah.
moved from a public school to a private school. My parents were just like scraping pennies under the couch to get me there.
Yeah.
And it was the same experience of, that's a Porsche. Oh, your dad has a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Why is your dad have
Everything in your house works.
Yeah.
Someone lived on High Street, and you drive down into their driveway, and they had like a rotating disc that would spin the car around.
Dude.
And then they threw a party, and we danced on it while it spun around.
Like a Daft Punk video.
That's
Just
so
like glittering
sick.
the whole time.
That is sick.
Oh my god!
I want to keep this nostalgia party going. We have another episode coming, which we haven't recorded yet. I'm spruiking it early. But one more time, please spruik the album when it's coming out. Tell the people where to find you as well, please, and thank you.
All right. Playlunch on Spotify. You can check us out. The album is coming out on November 17th. And then we are having
so excited.
a launch show on November 25th at the Nightcap.
And you can find us there.
Yeah.
Meet Sharehouse Pod and
On
Playlunch.
stage.
On stage. Yeah. Back up dancers.
This has been the Sharehouse Podcast. You can catch us at sharehousepod@gmail.com. Sharehousepod across all social media platforms. Joel, take us home.
Hey, make sure you tell someone you love them today.
Bye.
I love you, boys.
I love you.
That's-
Best friends.